What's up, my allies? My name is Zacharias, and this is Thank You Universe. And today, we're gonna do a video for the empaths out there. I haven't made an empath video for a while, but I wanted to make this one because I've just been thinking about empaths and their anger recently, just based on some observations I've made about empaths and how they deal with their anger. Because for empaths, anger can be one of the most difficult emotions to deal with and one of the most suppressed emotions. So, an empath is someone who can feel the feelings of other people, animals, places, things like that. And so a lot of times empaths learn to be helpers and they want to heal other people and they don't want to be angry. And so they don't even learn how to properly express their anger because they're so concerned with helping others. And anger is probably the most suppressed emotion for most people because nobody likes to be around an angry person most of the time. Like, angry people are angry. We associate anger with something that is scary, something that is bad. It's like, oh no, something's wrong. Because that's what anger is. Anger is useful. It tells us when something is wrong, but so many empaths are so out of touch with their anger, and we need to learn how to embrace that anger and feel it. And many empaths suppress their anger because a lot of times growing up they felt they were not allowed to express their anger. It wasn't something that was okay for them to do. If they had a problem, they learned that they're the ones who have to take care of not only their own problems, but other people's emotional problems. And so many of us, so many empaths and so many people, because most people are empathic in some way. I try to remind everyone of that in all of my videos because everyone is on the spectrum of empaths. But we're so out of touch with our anger and we learn to suppress it because empaths are helpers and healers, and they have learned to suppress their own anger. They're very out of touch with it because they feel like they have to be this helping person and they can't feel angry. And so a lot of empaths don't want to own up to their own anger and they suppress it and they pretend that it isn't there. I was actually inspired for this video in a certain empath community where I observed an empath, and to me it looked very much like they're trying to say that they don't feel angry, like they just felt the anger of other people and that's what makes them angry and they didn't know how to deal with it. And a lot of times we don't want to own up to being the bad guy, the bad person, even though you're not bad for feeling anger, but a lot of us feel like if you're angry, you're bad, you're in the wrong because you've lost control of your emotions because you're angry, right? So we don't want to be the angry person, and so we pretend like, oh no, I'm an empath, I'm just all love and light and I don't get angry. I only feel anger when other people are angry. But the thing about that is anger can be thought of like a fire. That's a common metaphor for it, and if you've got fuel for the fire in yourself, it's going to ignite. So yes, as an empath you can feel the anger of other people, but if you're not angry yourself, it's not going to make you angry and have these angry feelings. It's only if you have some internal anger that you're dealing with that it will make you angry. Because it's not really making you angry, it is just reflecting the anger that is already within you. So we need to recognize our own anger and stop suppressing it and actually let it do its job and listen to it, because anger is an emotion and emotions are energy and it's information, and that energy is telling us something about our life, our existence that is going on, and we need to listen to it so we can learn from it. And a lot of empaths have suppressed anger because they are suppressing their own truth. As these people pleasers, as empaths can often learn to be, they learn to be codependent and helpful, and they feel like it is their task to help others in life, and so they are suppressing their truth because instead of telling others around them what's going on with them, things that bother them, things that they're struggling with, they just don't even bring it up. They don't mention it. Because we're so sensitive and we can feel the emotions of other people, and we know what it's like to give someone bad news and then they feel bad, and then you're like, oh, I just shared my negative emotion with this person and now they feel bad. So we recognize when we do this, so we're afraid to share our negative emotions with people a lot of the time. But emotions are not really positive or negative, they're just energy. And anger isn't a bad thing. It tells us when something is not going in alignment with our lives and our ideal living situation. Anger tells us when something is wrong, when something is bothering us, if there's an underlying problem, because anger can be a response to certain things like fear. So maybe you're angry at someone because they made you feel bad about yourself, like someone you care about said something mean, and you get angry at them because maybe at some level you are afraid that what they said has an actual bearing in your life and that you are now less worthy of love or affection or of feeling good about yourself. And so we mask the fear with anger, and then on top of that, empaths suppress their anger. So you have these layers of suppressed emotions, so you're totally out of alignment. And we want to allow our emotions to express, because when we don't allow emotions to express, they get stuck in our energetic body. We might want to pretend that we are not angry, but it's there and it's going to stay there no matter how much you try and pretend like you're just all love and light. I'm an empath floating around and I'm just nice and loving towards everyone and I never get angry. But we need to allow that emotion to express itself so that we can continue growing on our path, because if we are not expressing our emotions, we are out of alignment, and then we lose self-trust. We are no longer in touch with our intuition, because if we're not listening to our own emotions, then we are telling ourselves, our energy, our energetic body, that whenever it tries to express a true feeling like anger, you're not going to listen to it. And so you're literally learning to stop listening to yourself and stop listening to your truth. So you really need to get in touch with your anger, to get in touch with your own truth. And there's no point in pretending like you aren't angry and you're just happy all the time, because, you know, nobody's perfect and it's okay to be angry, and you are actually not a bad person for feeling anger. Again, so many people feel like they're bad if they are angry, and if they have angry feelings that no one will want to be around them and they can't express it because no one wants to hear your issues and the things that you're angry about, because it can be a very harsh emotion and people are sensitive. But if you allow yourself to express it in a healthy, reasonable way, then it's not this scary bad thing. Because the thing is, people are afraid of anger because people suppress their anger until it boils over, and then it's too late, and then they blow up on somebody and do something hurtful. So a lot of empaths are living with this suppression in their lives, and they go around and they start getting really angry over very tiny things, and that's because the anger is just boiling over. You have reached your limit in the little anger bar. You're full, and it needs to be expressed and it needs to come out so it can be released. And when we allow that anger to express itself and to release, then it can show us something about ourselves, like why is the question to ask when you are angry. Why does this make me angry? Why does this bother me? Why does someone insulting me make me upset? Well, maybe what they said is something that I'm worried about. I have an insecurity, and so I believe that it might actually be true about myself. Why am I upset at people when they're late? Maybe it's because I feel like I'm not worthy of love, and when they're late I feel like they don't value me or value my time, and so I get angry because I'm afraid that I am not worthy of love and people's time and attention. And these are just examples, but it can be anything like that. And so when you learn to ask why to your anger, why am I angry, allow the feeling to express, you can learn a lot about yourself and then get yourself into alignment, because anger also shows us the things that are not going according to our highest ideal lives and the things that we need to work on about ourselves. So anger is a really useful emotion, and it's a tool that we can use, and we need to listen to it and learn to express it. And then once we allow anger to freely flow through us, then we don't get pent up anger, and then we don't go living around as angry people. Because the angriest people oftentimes are the ones who cannot own their own anger or own their own feelings, because they are not letting their truth be known even to themselves. At some level they are suppressing it in their own minds, so they don't even know why they're feeling the feelings they're feeling. They're angry because you can't live your life like that. It's no way to live suppressing your emotions all the time. And so when we actually acknowledge that yes, we are the angry person, and it's not because you're an empath and you picked up on someone else's anger and that's why you're angry, someone else's anger is in you. It doesn't work like that. It is your own anger in you, and it's okay. And you learn to live with it and release it. And then you can take that energy, because empaths are energy healers and they're energy workers, and you can use your empathic abilities on yourself and ask yourself, why do you feel this way? You make yourself heard to yourself, and that act is very healing in and of itself, just acknowledging it and listening to yourself. And then once you release that anger, that very same energy can be used for whatever you want in your life. Whatever you're trying to manifest, whatever goals you have, whatever you're trying to build, that energy is no longer being sapped out of you, because when you're suppressing your anger, that takes energy too. And so when you're in alignment with your emotions and you're being real with yourself, then your energy is free again, because you're not spending so much energy suppressing the emotions and not feeling your feelings. And when we learn to express our anger and stop judging it and thinking that we're bad for feeling these feelings, then we get really in touch with who we truly are, and we're in emotional alignment, and then we can live our lives with ease instead of suppressing all these emotions and having all these complicated feelings that you're not dealing with. You've dealt with it. You've dealt with the anger, and it's gonna be okay. And again, this is not a popular topic because a lot of people don't want to own their own anger, but you do because you clicked on this video, so that is awesome. And I've made other videos about dealing with our anger before, so I'll go ahead and link that right now. But I do appreciate you tuning into this video. Much love to all of my allies out there. If you like the video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel if you've not yet become a subscriber here with the Thank You Universe family. And I'll be seeing all of you on the next video. Bye!